Hi guys, what is going on? Thanks for stopping by, welcome to my channel. I hope you're doing great. I've just been away for 2 days, I'm back now, very happy to make a video again, and it's going to be about Morag Bronze Log, a free champion that we get relatively early in the game. I think I got mine after 22 days. We get her from the Plarium Points program here. We can't see her anymore, but due to the fact that we get 500 points from a promo code and 500 points just from completing some random mission, you know, something like enable notifications or something. That means we only need 250 points left in order to claim Morag Bronze Log, which means that if you're relatively active, and it's definitely useful to play on PC because that gives you 6 extra Plarium points on a daily basis. That means that we can claim her relatively early. I have done a video about all the free champions that we get within the first 6 months, and I noticed I forgot Morag, which is crazy to me because I use her in every single of my teams. I think she's an absolutely amazing champion. She's not only a support, she can be a damage dealer, she can be somewhat of a tank for your team as well, or is just very survivable, which is very useful. So I would love to put her here, but I think that would be a bit of a stretch to put her above Arbiter. I think this is a very decent spot for her. That being said, you could argue that she has more use in more areas than Yakal does, because Yakal is very much focused on Fire Knight Heart and Spider as well. He has a lot of crowd control as well, which Morag obviously doesn't have, but Morag is very, very useful against more bosses. She is great against, and Yakal can be decent in Arena, but Morag is great against Clan Boss, great against Fire Knight, great against Ice Golem, great against Dragon. I think that's the most important places, and that is why I think you could even argue that she could be ranked higher than Yakal, but I think that's also a bit of a stretch just because of the base stats. But there again, Morag has great stats. You know what? I'm gonna leave her there. Quite interested if you have a different opinion on her, but let me make my point. Let us look at the champion properly. Let's go through the skills very quickly. Each hit ignores shield, 2-time hitter on the A1. The shield ignore is like maybe for arena, something that can be interesting. And by the way, I don't consider my Morag to be a real damage dealer in the beginning because I can't really build stats on her, give her a lot of speed to use or get a lot of utility out of her skills and build crit rate and damage on her at the same time. So I think the damage component, and you can certainly use her for damage, is something that you are probably going to utilize more in mid-game or end-game. So yeah, to me, mainly a 2-time hitter on the A1, which is great. Strengthen with an AoE on a 3-turn cooldown on the A2, and then we have the ally attack on the A3. It's only 2 random allies, but she'll get a bit of extra utility if an enemy is killed. I mainly use her for boss fights, and that's why this is not too impactful, but against waves it can be nice. And I actually do use her in arena as well, mainly for her utility though, so if an enemy is killed by this, then she gets an extra turn. That's very nice. And this is what really rounds off her kit, I guess. When there is Strengthen out there, placed by this champion, then she counterattacks. And that is what I think really, like I said, that really gives her kit that punch that makes it really, really great, I think. Because this counterattack alongside the ally attack means she's amazing for Fire Knight. She unlocks my Fire Knight 20. Without her, I wouldn't be able to do Fire Knight 20, basically. At least I think, because I haven't tried. Why would I, you know? Then the Strengthen gives us a lot of utility. This is minus 25% damage on all allies, which is great. The A1s also give us a lot of utility, depending on how good the A1s of your allies are, obviously, and this just gives us extra, yeah, just some extra damage as well. So there is a lot of utility, like I said. There's different ways that you can build her now. So 1 second, I think she is very tanky, so you don't need to worry about her dying. One thing, tank. Second, she gives you utility with Strengthen, which is a rare buff in the beginning, and gives your team more survivability. Then she gives you ally attack, which means more ticks on more damage on the boss or on minions or on whoever, and also more utility due to the A1s. She pairs very well with Donatello, for example, who heals everybody on the A1. And then we have counterattack, which means she's just going to attack more and she's going to have more War Master procs on bosses. So I think a great kit. There's different ways that you can build her. I think speed is very important for her, especially because her base stats are great. You don't really need to be too worried about giving her great stats or need to be too worried about about building her stats. They are not going to build themselves, but it is relatively easy. So you can focus very much on speed. You could also put her in a relentless set so that she gets extra turns, more utility out of all of her stuff and all of her abilities. But I personally put her into a poison set. As you can see, like, let's go for her stats here very quickly. As you can see, like I said, 18,000 base HP, which is great. 1,300 defense, also great. Speed could be a bit more, but you know, that's fine. Even with a poison set, and I don't have a lot of poison, toxic set. I don't have a lot of toxic gear. But even with the bad toxic gear that I have, I managed to build her with almost 50,000 HP and 3,400 defense and 188 speed. That's super amazing. That being said, I left a crit rate out of the picture and I really don't utilize her as a damage dealer. I utilize her for her poisons, which is going to mean poisons on the dragon, poisons on the ice golem, which is very nice. Means that the ice golem is going to take damage without using his big smack so often. I'm going to showcase that later on in this video. More poisons on the clan boss next to all the utility that she brings us. And she is still tanky enough to do this, so this is absolutely amazing. I am going to showcase her in a Nightmare clan boss team today, and then when I have finished building Donatello and Michelangelo, I'm probably going to put her into that team as well and going to showcase her as my poisoner in clan boss, which is going to be very interesting. All right, I think that's what I want to talk about. Looking at her skills. Oh yeah, toxic set that luckily doesn't need any accuracy, so you don't need to worry about resistance and accuracy either. I guess I'm just gonna go through my stuff. Like this HP piece, that was amazing that I had this. But on the other hand, you know, if you just have something with HP and then 9 speed, then that's going to be fine. I mean, it's a luxury to have 190 speed. You don't need 190. Defense and then like bad rolls on the substats. These boots really don't benefit her at all, to be honest. Like the HP is decent. We have some speed on here, and then we have some more survivability. I guess the top row is decent, the bottom row has very bad substats. And yeah, I just looked for a bit more survivability with the accessories. All right, let's look at the masteries very quickly. She's not going to get too much out of the support line, so I think it's safe to say that you can easily take the defense line, and that's also going to help her survivability a ton. Decrease AoE damage from by 5%, which is great. And then we have reduces the damage of this champion receives from a specific enemy by 0.75%, stacks up to 6% for each enemy. Those two are really strong for bosses, these two, and that's why I've taken the defense line. I guess you could farm a bit more scrolls for her and get some of the stuff down here, but I don't really see that being too necessary. And then from there on, I guess I could have taken Life Drinker. That might have been the better choice than Single Out. Yeah, but I'm not going to change the masteries just for that. I did initially build her more damage focused, and the masteries do show that. But the most important thing on the offense side is just get War Master and then you're fine. At least that's my opinion. Okay, so I've been talking about her quite a bit, saying that she's a great champion. Let us go into some content and let me showcase why she is a great champion and where she is a great champion. All right, I think I want to take her into Ice Golem first. I could also choose Dragon, but I think that's, you know, that really, it doesn't really matter which one you pick. I have Kale on my team just to place more poisons. I could place Occult Brawler, but Occult Brawler would definitely focus on the minions, at least with his single target attack, and the passive is random. So I thought just slot in Kale, have a use case for him in some place. And then the rest is just the supports, and then Morag, who also gives me support, but she's now also going to give me poison. So the main thing I want to showcase here is her doing poisons on the ice golem. So that's probably where we are going to jump to. All right, guys, here we are at the boss. I think this is a very safe team, which is also why it takes me quite a bit of time to get to the boss, and also taking the boss down is going to take a bit of time. But I'm really hoping that those poisons are going to help me. So that's what I want to showcase here. Obviously, Kale is going to help as well. And it's going to be a bit difficult to see who of the two lands most poisons on the boss. But so far, the two small poisons have been placed by Morag. The ally attack poisons that come from Kale, if there are any, these I'm going to count into Morag as well, obviously. Yeah, but Kale mostly attacks the minions here, and Morag at least goes in with a couple of counterattacks, which means that she is going to place a couple of poisons on the ice golem, regardless if the minions are alive or if they are dead. Right, so I think I'm just gonna let this run for a bit. So far we have had 3 poisons. Now it's 5 poisons on the ice golem. Granted, always small ones, but still on the ice golem from Morag and from Kale. Now Kale here attacks the minions again. But as we can see, we do place a decent amount of poisons just because Morag has that poison set on her, and this actually sped up my ice golem runs quite a bit. I really had trouble against the ice golem. I mean, not because I wasn't able to do it, but just because my runs were so incredibly slow. So incredibly slow. That was really painful. It is still going to take us probably like 7.5, 8 minutes, I guess. But the poisons are slowly but surely going to do their work. As you can see, we have 5 poisons out there right now. And when the ice golem takes a turn, that's going to be a good chunk of that HP. There you go. Alright, so I think that showcases Morag, and this is especially great for Ice Golem because she brings us, like I said, she brings us strengthen and survivability and damage at the same time. I'm gonna let this run through and then we can look at the final damage numbers. Okay guys, we're getting very close to the end here. I think when Ice Golem takes a turn, then that should probably kill him just because of the poisons. I didn't count the amount of big hits that we actually triggered, but it should have been less than usual. Should have been less than usual. Yeah, look at this. Kale, I mean, he has crit rate. He isn't in a crazy damage build, but he has a 100% crit rate and does probably more damage on the waves than Morag. But at the same time, even though he has that crit rate advantage, Morag does more damage overall. And Morag even gives him more extra attacks, which is also going to mean that he does more damage than usual because of the ally attack. So I think Morag is an absolutely amazing champion for this. I think this showcases her. I don't think that I need to show her in Fire Knight because it's very obvious how amazing she is. But for a second showcase, I do want to take her into Clan Boss. I think this is a great place to showcase her damage and just to give you an idea what she can do. Now we have Morag, we have Vergis, Raktadrath and Tuhanurak. It's again super great that we have so much support here and so many buffs here that the survivability of the team should be really great, especially because we have a Reviver as well. And then we have Lemonisi, who is going to deal damage by putting out those Brimstones. I am going to compare her damage to Kale in the end as well. So, just so you know what we are planning here. I think I'm just gonna go into the run and just let her fight for a bit, just to give you an idea how many poisons are going to be out there on average during this fight. I mean, you can always decide what you want more. Do you want the strengthen more? I think you should probably tell her to use the strengthen as her main ability, the AoE, but I think she does that anyway, so we should be fine here, just to get the most possible utility out of the strengthen. Apart from that, yeah, like I said, this team should be decently survivable and therefore she should put out a decent amount of poisons. I don't think there's anything else that we need to talk about here. I think this is, in terms of buffs and debuffs, this is a pretty complete team, if you want to call it that. We get block buffs from Tuhanarak, just if you're looking to build a clan boss team. Block buffs from Tuhanarak, which is going to mean there is no increase attack on the clan boss. We have decrease attack from Tuhanarak, which are the probably most important debuffs on the enemy in terms of utility, and then, or survivability. And then buff wise, we have increased attack from Tuhanarak, we have ally protection from Verges, we have strengthen from Morag, and then we also have perfect veil from Wreck the Draft. So there's really the chance that when there is an AoE incoming, the chance of us not having any buffs or few buffs is very, very low, which is very nice. Alright, I think we get a decent idea here. I remember this to be a bit more, but it seems like most of the time we have 2 or 3 of the small poisons out there. Like I said, it's not crazy amazing, but it is a decent amount that is just going to help with the overall damage. Interesting is, I think it's going to be quite interesting to pair her with Donatello, because he gives cooldown reduction, and that is going to mean that the ally attack is going to be triggered more. And that's just going to, yeah, I'm just very interested what that is going to do to the team overall. But I am, like I said, I am going to do quite a few showcases, especially damage showcases with the turtles and different team compositions on my account. So that should be interesting. Okay, so I think there is not many changes happening. Not much changing here in terms of the poisons. There is 1 or like 2 or 3 poisons out there most of the time when the clan boss takes a hit, which means around 50k extra damage per clan boss attack. Let's have this run through and see where we end up in the end. Alright guys, we are back. Turns out the main problem is we don't have enough heals on this team, so I can't heal everybody up fully before the clan boss goes for the next big hits. This one was just an A1 luckily, but this clan boss run is slowly but surely falling apart. We are probably going to be around 35 turns or something. We are at 33 now, which is pretty decent, I think. And like it was in the beginning, most of the times Morag has 2 or 3 poisons out there, giving us 50 to 75,000 K extra damage per clan boss turn. It's actually interesting. I have a Cold Brawler on my account now. I was super lucky. I pulled a Cold Brawler from the one Sacred Shard that I pulled for the summoning event for Donatello. I really didn't expect that, but yeah, I got a Cold Brawler and I'm utilizing him already in my clan boss team, and he is definitely going to do more damage against the clan boss, but he doesn't bring me that strengthen, and that strengthen is going to mean that we survive much longer. We actually do very similar damage with the Cold Brawler on the team, but the difference is we have much less turn counts, boss turn counts, and more damage from a Cold Brawler probably. But let's look at the final results here. And Morag coming in with 5 million damage, which is pretty great. I'm not gonna lie, if you bring a proper poisoner, that's going to be very, very different. A Cold Brawler, for example, he does more damage than Luminisi most of the times, but we survive far less turns. And also Morag improves the skills or the damage and also your utility from everybody else. Especially Tuhanarak's A1 is very nice because it heals the lowest ally with a continuous heal, and Morag really helps to spread that continuous heal. Alright, I think this shows you what Morag can do for you if you utilize her, especially if you need a poisoner on your team. When you're early game, you got Kale, you got maybe, like nowadays it's probably more likely to be Michelangelo, or if you have Luminisi and you have that Brimstone on your clan boss team and then you want another damage dealer on the team, you might consider just as a poisoner putting a toxic set on Morag, and she is going to put out quite a few poisons. Obviously she is not as great as a proper poisoner, but you could put her into your team instead of putting Kale in, because she's not doing much less damage, whilst at the same time giving you a lot of utility. Let me make a damage comparison, 1 second. Alright, granted this is a very different team because we have Deacon Armstrong on the team. I slotted Deacon out just because I thought that his decreased defense didn't do too much for me. And I slotted in Rag the Draft. So like I said, this is a bit of a different team, and we can see that from Lemonisi. Lemonisi did 9.5 million on the run we just did, and she only did 6 in comparison here. I think this Clan Boss run was like 26 turns only, and Kale does more damage. Kale does very, very decent damage. He has a bit of crit rate on him, but then from his poisons he does very, very decent damage. So, like I said, Morag isn't going to replace a proper poisoner, not even Kale, but she can be an option if you don't want to bring an extra poisoner next to all the other champions that you have. Alright, that is going to be it. Guys, how do you utilize Morag? What do you think about Morag? Are you using her? Do you think she is? Do you think her as strong as me? Or do you have a different opinion on her? I hope you are having a great day, and I hope to see you on the next video. Until then, bye.